Okay, let's get started on your three-dimensional drawing of a room using the rules of linear perspective, and in particular, one-point perspective. So you need a sheet of copy paper, you need the portrait orientation, so the lengthwise is going upwards, the shorter sides are on the shorter width is on the sides. First thing we're going to do is a little fold. We're going to take the corner of the paper, the bottom corner, up to the side edge of the paper like this. So you're going to end up with a triangle of paper here and just a rectangle across the top. Now I'm just going to turn it sideways and I'm going to cut off that rectangle of paper. The reason why we're doing this is so that we can get a square sheet of paper. It's a quick way to do it when you need a square is just to do that with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So we have this diagonal line here. We're now going to open it up and fold it the other way so we get two lines making it sort of like a diamond shape. So you see here I've just pinched the fold. I'm going to open it up so it looks like I have a big X in the center of my paper. I'm going to take a pencil. I'm going to put a dot right in the center. And you might remember that basically is your vanishing point. So now I'm going to take my ruler, because remember, ruler is important for this project. I'm going to very lightly, and I do mean lightly, don't go over these lines heavily, lightly go over the diagonal lines through my vanishing point. There's one. I'm going to turn my paper, and I'm going to do the same thing again, line up my ruler with that diagonal line, so it's going through the vanishing point, two. So we have, looks like I have a big X in our paper now. One other line that you're going to want to do is just a line through the center, making that traditional horizon line, just very, very lightly again, just like that, okay? Now, we want to put a square in the center of our paper, and we already have some guidelines to help us do that. So we're going to bring our ruler up near the top, not too far up, because we want this to be the back wall of a room. So you're going to see what I mean in a minute. This space above the line I'm about to make, you're going to see it's going to turn into the ceilings. On the sides will be the wall, and on the bottom will be the floor. So let me just lightly make a line here. And I'm going to see how much space I did there. So I could do it about here. It's about the same amount. We want to make sure that our sides are going to line up so that it does look like a square. So when I turn my ruler vertically now, I should be able to line up those two lines right to the diagonals. So you see here, the points are meeting at the diagonal line. And the same thing here, I should just be able to, and just check, does that look even? Then you're probably going to get an even line. Alrighty. Right here, we have a square with all these diagonals running through it. So what I want you to do is I want you to just erase that center line now. Let's just take our eraser and lightly, remember that's why we did it lightly, we're going to get rid of that horizon line. Now that you have your square, you won't need that horizon line anymore. You will definitely need those diagonal lines though, okay? So let's call this the ceiling. Let's call these two sides on either side of my square the walls, and this the floor. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to darken the lines of my ceiling here and here and here and here. Just going to darken those so I can really sense that that is there. Okay, I'm going to now use those lines as a guide for forming a door along this wall and a window along this wall. Take your ruler, make sure it's touching the vanishing point and it's going over to the wall at a diagonal. You don't want to touch the ceiling line here, but you want to make the door. Doors are pretty tall. They're not really short. So I'm going to come over here. I'm not putting any line inside the square, but right here I'm just going to put a short line. That short line I just added is going to be the top of a door. I want to use my ruler, make sure it's vertical to my vanishing point, slide it over, and I want to make sure I make a nice straight line. That's one half of my door. And I'm going to put a nice straight line over here, which will be the other bit of my door. So I have a nice tall door on this wall. I think I'll put a door handle right here. Now we're going to add a window over on this side, doing the same technique where our ruler is touching the vanishing point, and then you could decide how tall your window is going to be. But I'm going to put a diagonal. Again, it does not touch the corner wall. And I'm going to add another diagonal. So they'll look like one's going upwards, one's going slightly downwards. And then I'm just going to add 2 vertical lines, 1, 2, connecting the lines I just made. Okay, you've just created a window and a door. Now let's erase the interior diagonals that we had before. Just like we took away that horizontal horizon line, we're going to take away the interior diagonals. This is the back wall. We're going to keep that vanishing point there for a minute. And now we're just going to draw, using those diagonals as a guide, I'm just going to draw a picture that touches at the diagonal line. So just going to come down straight. And I know I'm just doing this freehand because, you know, right here, it's not as critical. I'm just going to pretend there's a picture hanging on the wall. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to just put a little frame inside my picture, very lightly. And right there. That's all I want you to accomplish today. I think that's a lot to get your paper cut square, to get your diagonals, your horizontal lines, to get your window and door and a picture frame on the wall. That's all you need to accomplish for this class. Then we'll take it to the next step, next class. Okay, good luck. I look forward to seeing a picture of what you've done, and I'll be able to give you some feedback.